Hi, today we're going to be talking about domain and range. So domain are all of our inputs into our function. It's usually x, but it doesn't have to be x. It's whatever is going to be our independent variable. So it's going to be on our horizontal axis. That's our domain. And then our range are our y values usually, but it's whatever is going to be our dependent variable on the vertical axis. Okay, so let's get to it. Here we have a graph, and what is our domain going to be? Now, these inequality symbols are actually good for both continuous and discrete functions, so let's just use them for whatever kind of functions we have here. Our bottom value for our x's, it looks like it doesn't go any lower than 0, and it goes all the way up to 3. So therefore, our x is going to be bounded by 0 on the low end and 3 on the upper end. Another way to say bounded is restrictions. So restrictions are a way to say what are our x values, what are our y values, what's our domain and range. So restrictions is the same thing as saying what our domain is or our range, all right? So here we have our range being between, let's see, it bottoms out at 5 and it goes all the way up to 20. All right, now do you see that this graph actually goes up to 25, but we're not including 25 in our range because we're only talking about, when we're talking about range and domain, what the data points on our actual function are. And so even though the backdrop of 25 is here, we're only looking at our actual line or curve. All right, so let's go to this one. Here we have a function that has a minimum value of -30 for our domain. Do you see that our domain, let's see, the smallest number that we have on our domain here is going to be -30. So our minimum x value is going to be -30. So here's a question. What is our minimum range value? All right, and so here we have our last graph. Let's see, our domain lives between -4 and +4. Again, it goes up to 6 on this graph here, but we're not including 6 in our domain here because our values in our function stop at 4. So our domain is restricted by -4 and 4. All right, and so here's the question. What is our restrictions on our y values in this case? Meaning, what's our range?